So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to quickly go through these first 10 questions, okay? These first 10 questions are all just about vocabulary. So, who knows the first one? Two or more lines equations using the same variables. What is this one? Yes, this is H, linear system. Two, can somebody, oh. A system of equations that does not have a unique solution. This is a? It's a dependent system, right? There is no independent in our word bank, so it's not that one. Lines in the same planes that never intersect. Never intersect. Oops, my bad. I meant to use the highlighter. That never intersect are going to be what? Parallel lines. Let's start crossing off the ones that we already used. This is parallel lines, so it's going to be A. All right. The possible values for output of a relationship, the y values are going to be? Right. Y values refers to range. Okay. So that's going to be F. A graph that is composed of isolated points. This is a discrete graph. Okay. So when you hear isolated, think discrete. So that's going to be E. The possible values for input of the relation or function, in other words, the x values are going to be what? This is domain, so it's going to be B. The transformation that flips a graph across a line, that's going to be reflection. Remember, flip refers to reflection, G. A relationship that pairs each input value with exactly one output value is a? Yeah, that's a function, right? So function is C. And the keyword here would be exactly one output with one input. Okay. Lines that intersect to form right angles are going to be what? That's exactly right. They're going to be J, perpendicular lines. Keywords that you're looking for are going to be right angles and intersect. A line on a scatter plot drawn that shows correlation is, well, the only one left is trend line. So that's, I'm sorry, what is that? I. Okay. Now, okay, what is the solution to the following equation? If is saying C. Let's work it out, all right, because we want to know how to work it out. So we're going to go ahead and distribute this. We're going to get 2h minus 16 minus h is equal to h minus 16. And then when we combine the 2h and the negative h, we get h minus 16 is equal to h minus 16. And when you have something that's the same on both sides, this side is the same as this side, your answer is C, infinitely many solutions, right? If you were to cancel everything out, add the 16, subtract the h, you'd get 0 is equal to 0. And so that's infinitely many solutions. No, that's infinitely many. No solution, let's talk about what no solution would look like. No solution would look like this. Something like 7 is equal to 0. Is that true? No, it says false. So when it's false, then it's no solution. When it's true, then it's what? Infinitely many. Does that make sense? Okay. This next question says what? Nina wants to download games for a video game console. Older games cost 500 points, and new releases cost 2,000 points. Nina has 20,000 points to use. The equation 5a plus 2000b is equal to 20,000, where a is the number of older games and b is the number of new releases. Models the situation. How many older games can she download if she downloads one new game? How about if she downloads 4 games? A. Okay, so how do we get that? Okay, I can see that. But like to actually work it out, this is what you would do. You would take your 500A plus 2,000 B is equal to 20,000. Okay? And you would go ahead and plug in a 1, right? If she downloads one new game, you would plug in a 1 there. So you'd end up getting 500A plus, well, 2,000 times 1 is just 2,000. 2,000 is equal to what? 20,000. Okay? So what you would want to do here is subtract 2,000, and you get 500A is equal to what? 18,000. And then you divide, and so A is equal to 18,000 divided by 500. What does this give you? Remember, you do have access to a calculator, so you don't even have to stress about that. You can literally just divide it. 36, right? And since it's the only one with 36, you know it's going to be A. To double check, you would do the same thing, right? But you would multiply this times 4, right? So you'd get 8,000. So you'd get 500. A is equal to, what's 20,000 minus 8,000? 12,000, right? And then when you divide 12,000 by 500, you would get 24. All right, questions on that one? What is the solution to the proportion? Well, this is just 12 times D. We're going to cross multiply. Is equal to 14 times 48. Does that make sense? And then we're going to go ahead and divide by 12 on both sides to get D by itself. So D is equal to 14 times 48 divided by 12. So, oops, sorry. No. So, again, 14 times 48. And then we divide this by 12, which gives us 56. You could also recognize, hey, 12 times 4 gives me 48, right? So I'm just going to take 14 times 4, and guess what that gives me? Okay, what are the solutions of the inequality? So here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and move things around, right? So, okay, we can say, first of all, I need to combine this 10x and this negative 7x. What do I get? 3x minus 10 is greater than or equal to 3x minus 2. Okay? Then I go ahead and add 10 to both sides, add 10 to both sides, and I get 3x is greater than or equal to 3x plus 8. Does this make sense? Now, I can go ahead and subtract 3x from both sides, subtract 3x from both sides, and I get 0 is greater than or equal to 8. Dot, dot, dot. Is that true? Is 0 greater than or equal to 8? No, this is false. So what did I say whenever you have a false answer? Yes, false means no solution. Good job. What is the solution of the equation? Oh man, there are a lot of decimals here, but don't freak out. Once again, you're going to have a calculator, or you can just do it by hand if you know how to work with decimals. Okay? But we need to get everything moved over, so we have 37 minus 1.5 x is equal to 17.2 plus 2.625x. Okay? Okay, so first thing that I would do is I would want to combine my like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 17.2 from both sides. So what I would end up getting is, again, I'm just going to use the calculator so we make sure we don't make a mistake. I would get 37 minus 17.2, and I'd get 19.8. So 19.8 minus 1.5x is equal to 2.67, no, 1.25x. Now what do? Add 1.5x to both sides, right? So if I add 1.5x, oh, sorry, I did that again. So if I add 1.5x to 2.625 plus 1.5, I get 19.8 is equal to 4.125x. To get x by itself, what do I have to do? Yes, I do. I divide by 4.125. And you guys are saying it's 4.8? 19.8 divided by 4.125 is equal to 4.8. You guys are correct. Good job. Okay, this one says, a new comedian is building a fan base. The table shows the number of people who attended his show in the first, second, third, and fourth month of his career. Which graph could represent the data shown in this table? Okay, so we got first month is 119 people. Second month, did it increase or decrease? So it increased, and then it did what again? And then it increased again, and then it did what again? It increased by almost double, right? So this is like, this one, not really double, but it was a big jump, right? But this one was a huge jump, right? It really did basically almost double. But it's kind of doing that. So we're gonna go ahead and look at this and say, okay. This one is saying the number of people stayed the same, right? So first of all, we know it's not A, and we know it's not D, because A and D are going down, right? And if you look at this, how many people did it increase from here to here? We could say like roughly 100, right? And from here to here, we could say a little bit more than 100, like 150. And then this one was like, let's say 300, right? It was roughly about 300. So do you guys see how they don't remain consistent? Okay, what do these look like? Are these remaining consistent? Yeah. Is this guy increasing by more and more and more? So then this would be your answer right here. Next page. Identify the mapping diagram that represents the relation and determine whether the relation is a function. Okay? So, this one is saying -8, -6, -5, -2, -8, -1, -7, 3. All right? So remember, a function is what?
Is when the x's aren't the same.
So function, Mr. Daniel just said, x's don't repeat, right?
But if they do repeat, then it isn't a function.
Right, so if they repeat, then it's called a relation, not a function.
But y can be able to repeat.
Y can repeat. That's good information. Y can repeat. Okay, so what happened here? -8 and -8. It repeated. So is it a function? So A is wrong and B is wrong. So we got to look at C and we got to look at D. Which one comes first? The x's. So the x's give you the y. So which one should it be? Should it be C or D?
C. Or D.
It should be D because the x's should be here. X give you y. Like that. So the answer is going to be D because the x's come first. -8, -5, and 7. Any questions on this one? D, the relation is not a function. The function j of x is equal to 39x. And it represents the number of jumping jacks you can do in X minutes. How many jumping jacks can you do in 5 minutes? What do you guys think we have to do? 39 times 5, right? 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 3 is plus 4. How many jumping jacks can you do? Ooh, look, another one. It's very, very similar. Daniel, what did you say about the y's? Can they repeat or not?
Yes.
Y's can repeat. Why am I bringing that up now? Because look, all my y's do what? Is that okay?
Yes.
So is this a function? Do my x's repeat? No. So the only thing that makes it a function or not is x is repeating. So this relationship is a function, so we can cross A off and we can cross D off because they say it is not. And we all know that this is a function. So it's either C or B. What?
They switch the y again for C.
Right, so C has it switched. C is saying that negative 6 comes first as x. This should be x and then this should be y. So this is not the answer. The answer is B. Which relationship shown is not a function? Okay. So, Ife, you're saying B. Why? So the vertical line test. The vertical line test says what? That if I draw a vertical line anywhere on my graph, it has to touch at how many points? At most 1 point. If it touches at more than that, then it is not a function. So if I draw a vertical line test right here, it's always touching, right? So then does it pass the vertical line test? No. Here, it crosses once. Here, it'll cross once. And here, it'll cross once. So the answer is B. That is not a function. So it says, match the equation with its graph. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, first thing that we have to do with this, okay, is we have to go ahead and get it to y is equal to mx plus b form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3 over 4x from both sides, and I'm going to get negative y is equal to negative 3 over 4 minus 3 over 4x. Okay. I'm actually going to switch these because I want it in y is equal to mx plus b form. So y is equal to negative 3 over 4x minus 3 over 4. Sorry, this is negative y. And if I want to get rid of that negative, I just multiply the whole thing times negative 1, which gives me y is equal to 3 over 4x plus 3 over 4. Sound good? So, what is this 3 over 4? It's the b, which is my y-intercept. What is this 3 over 4? That's the rise over run, which is my slope. Good job. All right, so let's look at this. First of all, the slope is positive, so my graph needs to be going up. This graph is going down, so that's not it. And this graph is going down, so that's not it. Okay? Now, second of all, I look at my y-intercept. My y-intercept has to be positive 3 over 4. What's wrong with b? It's in the negative 3 over 4, so that's not it. So my answer is going to be C. And we can double check that it has that positive rise over run right around. Oh yeah, we know that it's C. All right. This one, same deal. We need to go ahead and move this over to do what? Huh? You used it to what? To graph it? Oh, okay. Aoife says, hey, you can just use the calculator to graph it. Let's go ahead and do that. So that way you guys can see how you do that. Now, okay, Desmos is just an online calculator that I use. All of you guys have access to this. It's free online. So we have 0.5x plus 0.2y is equal to 0.1. Now, what I would do, actually, is I would go ahead and multiply everything by 5. And the reason that I would do that is just so that I can get this y equal to 1. That way, I don't have to worry about moving things around. So I'm going to get 2.5x plus 1y is equal to 0.5. Do y'all see what I did? And then all I do is I do minus 2.5x to both sides, and I get y is equal to negative 2.5x plus 0.5. Do y'all see what I did? Right? This makes it a whole lot easier to graph. Now, we can go ahead and still plug it into Desmos. We get y is equal to negative 2.5x plus 0.5. And this is what my graph should look like. Do y'all see that? And it even tells you where it intersects your lines. So we go back over here. And okay, so we know that it's going in the negative direction, so it's none of these. And if we look at the graphs and where they intersect, this is saying it intersects at a positive 0.5. This is saying negative 0.5. And if we look at Desmos, it looks more this way on this side of the y-axis. So my answer is going to be C, not A.
I was about to say A, but then I looked at it.
Now, next one. Which function's graph is a translation of the graph of x shifted 7 units to the left? Okay, so Aoife's saying which one?
D.
D. Okay, so let's look at it. First of all, this negative is a what?
Reflection.
It is reflect. Okay, this 7x is a what?
Also reflect.
It actually doesn't reflect, this one stretches. This is a reflection and a stretch. This is just a stretch. Plus stretch. Okay, now this, x plus 7 and x minus 7. Which one is the one that shifts it to the left? Minus 7. Let's go ahead and double check and confirm that. If we're going to say x, right? And then we press enter, we get another one. We go y is equal to x minus 7. What way did it move?
To the right?
It moved to the right.
We were playing.
Y'all were played. Because remember, that minus 7 technically moves it down. And when it's inside the parentheses is when it's moving to the left, right? So in this case, the graph that's going to be moved to the right, x plus 7, moves to the left.
Wait, so is it D?
The answer is actually going to be
Wait, but why does it move the
B.
graph down?
Huh? Because, remember guys, you have a graph, right? And it goes like this, right? This graph is infinite. If I go ahead and move it up, right? All these points move up. Where is it going to end up?
Okay, so
Do y'all see that? Do y'all see how moving it to the, how moving it up also kind of moved it to the left? That's a property of linear functions. That moving them up is the same thing as moving them to the left, and moving them down is the same thing as moving them to the right. Okay? Now, it's good because we know how to make, or we all make mistakes. Just make sure that we go ahead and double check and we fix them. All right? Okay. What type of relationship does the scatter plot show?
It's negative.
Yeah, the trend line would be going down. So this is, guys, so because of this trend line, we're going to have a negative correlation. The scatter plot shows the number of mistakes a piano student makes during a recital versus the amount of time the student practiced for the recital. How many mistakes do you expect the student to make at the recital after 6 hours of practicing?
55.
times 6.
Yeah, 55. That's a lot of mistakes. The easiest way to do this one, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be to graph it. Y is equal to 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1, and y is equal to what? Y is equal to negative 3x minus 1. And we can actually see here where they intersect. Do y'all see that?
Yes.
So if we go back over here, sorry, that's about to open PowerPoint. We have A as our solution.
What was this thing called?
Sorry?
What was the calculator thing?
Desmos.
It's like gizmos, but Desmos.
Desmos.com. How many solutions does the system have? We did this one already. Okay, so this one, remember, we just went ahead and multiplied everything by negative 3, right? Which,
We did substitution on this one.
oh wait, sorry, yes. On this one, we did substitution. So we substituted 3 times what? Sorry, 3 times 6x plus 2. We'll do it very quickly just in case somebody forgets. Minus 18x is equal to 12. We get 18x plus 6 minus 18x is equal to 12. This cancels out, and 6 does not equal 12, so the answer is no solutions because this is, once again, this is false. And for this one, ladies and gentlemen, we multiplied everything by 3, right? By negative 3. And we ended up getting negative 3x plus 6y is equal to negative 18. And when we added them together, everything canceled out, and we ended up getting what? Which is true. So there is infinitely many. The table shows the cost of ski rental packages for a given amount of people. So this tells me, okay, if I have 4 people, I have $160, right?
Yes.
They're asking me, explain the rate of change, find the rate of change and explain what it means. Well, 4 and 6 and 160, so this, and we divide it by 4, this is 40. So how much does it cost for one person? 40 over 1, right? Not 1 over $40 per room. There is no room, no mention of room. So the table shows the number of miles driven over time. This is distance and this is time. So what's the rate of change? We go, 204 divided by 4 is 51. So your car travels 51 miles every 1 hour. It'd be A. So these questions on the back are going to be the written section.
Oh, okay.
The student, did I give you these?
Yes.
Yeah. Ms. Garza gave her students the equation this as practice problems. The student's work is shown below. Is there an error in the student's work? So you know what? I'm actually not going to go over these. I want you guys to go ahead and figure these out. Based on what you guys know. You guys should know this, systems of equations. So just look at the steps. And for this one, we just did rate of change. And then for this one, the slope given between 2 lines, go ahead and use your notes for this one, okay? All right, thank you guys. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Good luck on your exam.